Hey folks, hope you're all doing well. A couple quick things before I go into the topic this week. First of all, thank you very much for all the really amazing comments. A lot of very in-depth comments on the last video I did previously, which was the response to the whole Samus, Zero Suit Samus jet boot controversy that kind of rose up with the whole Smash Brothers Direct a couple weeks ago. It was very cool. I was very happy to see a lot of people agree with me. Was perfectly fine to see some people didn't. And it was interesting to have some further discussion with people. And yeah, it did look like a really successful vlog that came out. So yeah, very much appreciate all the feedback on that one. And secondly, I did want to do I mentioned also last week that I had a bunch of different ideas for vlogs. There was one that I was planning on doing this week that was Dragon Ball related, to kind of coincide with the fact that I just put out the Dragon Ball Z Did You Know voice acting video part 2 a little while ago. But I wanted to wait and hold off on that one because I wanted to do it with a certain guest who I won't spoil, to discuss about some Dragon Ball related things. So in the meantime, I thought I would, while Smash Brothers is still kind of a hot topic, I thought that I would go into my general kind of thoughts and reactions to a bunch of the things that came up on the Smash Brothers Direct earlier this a couple weeks ago. So first of all, overall, I'm really excited for this game. I cannot tell you enough. Smash Brothers, as many people who follow my work probably know, is a big deal game franchise to me, and yeah, just everything about all the new features and everything have been really exciting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just go over the bullet points of the Direct and give some feedback on all those things, and create a little discussion about what some of the stuff that's going to be revealed in probably the coming months will be when the game comes out. So on the release date timing, I guess I'm going to be finally getting a 3DS. I have not had one for the couple of years that it's been out. I know I've needed it. I've missed out on a lot of great games, but I think this will probably be the thing that finally gets me to get one. I have a Wii U, of course, which I've done some reviews on some Wii U games previously, and I am excited to play both, really. But on that same note, because of the fact that they've kind of set this up in a way where the Wii U version is going to be coming out later, in the winter of this year, within the year, by the way, not next year, as a lot of people are thinking. And I mean, for all we know, summer 2014, when they said that for the 3DS version, I mean, that could be August for all we know. So maybe there won't be quite as much of a gap, but we'll have to see. Either way, but yeah, I'm interested in that because if the roster is going to be the same, and I don't think they're going to put out a patch with extra characters, I don't see them doing that, to be totally honest. I think that whatever they reveal later for the Wii U version is going to be very interesting, because I don't think it's going to be extra characters. Sakurai's always kind of kept to this mentality of it's not necessary to pull without saying directly, but what Street Fighter and BlazBlue and a lot of the more traditional fighting games do, where they release a new version of the game every whenever, and they just add a couple characters and rebalance it. I think the fact that they're taking all this time to balance out everything as greatly as possible ahead of time, and then put out, the definitive way the game is supposed to be, there's no need to do that. So the other features, I think, are what are going to be interesting to see, what new content will be added when they put out the Wii U version. Because there's a big risk with that. The fact of the matter is, the 3DS is so successful, and the Wii U has so been, not very successful, honestly, that, it's a big gamble, because putting it out for the Wii U during Christmas time, and especially if they bundle it with the system, that honestly could be a system seller. That could be a huge turnaround for the Wii U, majorly. But it's going to depend, because if the 3DS version just has plenty to go with it, and people don't want the Wii U version, they're not going to buy it because they'll already have it for one system. And it'll have to be more than just better graphics than the 3DS version to sell it. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do to add into that. And it's exciting just even thinking about what that could be. Stages are looking really cool. A lot of scrolling stages I've noticed between Rainbow Road and Skyloft, the Pokemon level with the Prison Tower, the Pilot Wings one. There's a lot of scrolling levels. I'm not always a huge fan of those, to be totally honest, but if maybe they refine them a little bit to be a little more cohesive, and less all over the place, they could be cool. So I'm still excited for those. I like having the two different versions, having different levels based on whatever consoles like 3DS and handheld games stages for the 3DS version, then console stages for the Wii U version. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Some of the stages that they showed in there were interesting to see. Maybe some hints of other characters. There were a lot of things like with the assist trophies as well, of kind of maybe hints of other characters that might show up again. So there was that. And they're looking really cool. I will say as well, I actually really, as somebody who is just more than a casual fan of the game, just like I'm pretty hardcore, but I'm not a competitive hardcore fan. I actually really like the whole idea of not only the Final Destination versions of all the levels to give to the competitive players, but also the game modes, the for fun and for glory thing. I think that's a really nice, fair way to meet both people's demands, because I think it is important. I'm certainly not someone to turn a blind eye to the competitive community of it. And I think that servicing those people as well is interesting, and taking the precautions to make it like a nice online environment. It's cool. It shows a great attention to detail, and that's something I think that is worth appreciating. I don't know if people are thinking too much about that, but I think it's very cool. I'm glad that they're doing that. So, and the ranking system, by the way, for fans of Tome, it's funny because I go into this a little bit in the Traveler's Guide thing. The global Smash Power thing is a ranking system that I actually kind of consider to be like what I sort of wanted for Tome. With like, when you like defeat players and things. So it's kind of cool to see that something like that being utilized and doing it better than I would have ever conceptualized. So, good on Sakurai, but of course, he's a genius. So what the hell? what do I know? Items and assist trophies. They're cool. A lot of stuff, recycled from the other games, of course. Some of the new ones are pretty cute. I'm trying to remember anything specific about items or whatever that I thought were neat. I caught the blue shell. I'm kind of interested to see what that will do exactly, like how it'll be different. I'm sure they're going to have the other colored shells in there. And the little Galaga thing, or the Namco flag thing, whatever that is, that's something else that's making me kind of interested in, are there going to be any Namco characters in this game at some point? The POW block is pretty neat. The submarine gun, the beetle, they're all pretty interesting. The fire bar, like the Mario fire bars, is kind of cool. Like you hit it and then one of them disappears or whatever. The Kid Icarus items, the bomb chews are neat. It's just some interesting items that's you think that they would have had them in previous ones and they're only just now putting them in there. But it's good to see them. I think that's neat. So that's exciting. The Ore Club is also pretty badass, and some of those Kid Icarus ones are pretty awesome. Assist trophies, a lot of ones carried over, of course, obviously from Brawl specifically. They even caught a couple. I saw Samurai Goro in there and some other things. A lot of those are kind of giveaways for maybe some of the characters that will be showing up down the line. But they're neat, and I'm excited to see maybe some more of those in the future. The Chain Chomp and Pong cracked my shit up. That was the best. So that was cool to see that. Pokemon, just about what you'd expect, obviously, from that, and a good mix of ones for all the different generations and everything. That's neat. All right, so now the returning fighters, and I'm not going to go too deep into the whole Zero Suit Samus thing. If you want to go back and watch that, I'll probably have an annotation in here somewhere, so you can click that and go check that out. So first of all, I think I talked about this on my previous video where I was making Smash Brothers predictions for what some of the new characters are going to be. I still am of the opinion that we're not going to have any characters with multiple detailed character models, and I was right. So in the fact that they decided to make Zero Suit Samus and Zelda and Sheik into separately playable characters, or rather, I think what I said before was that Samus and Zelda will just be by themselves; they won't have the alternate forms. But the fact that they made their alternate forms into separate characters, I think, is a really cool idea. The improvements that it looks like they've made to each of them individually are really neat. Like I said about Zero Suit Samus, I'm excited to play as her with jet boot kicks and all that stuff. Sheik seems pretty cool. I've always been more fond of playing as Zelda than Sheik in the Smash Brothers games, but Sheik looks like she's got some cool moves. My prediction about Zelda's down B attack was right on the money, which was that's the thing. That's also something that I'm kind of happy about. It's I guessed things correctly. Yay, I'm a dork, whatever. But the Phantom Slash is pretty awesome looking. I love that. All the improvements that they've been making to the other characters are also really interesting and exciting to me because while I'm not into competitive Smash and I appreciate it, it does annoy me a little bit that it's like people are only experiencing like 2% of the fucking content basically. So stuff like the Final Destination, versions of the other levels are pretty cool. And in addition to that, the adjustments that they're making to the pre-existing characters is really cool to me specifically because I feel like by doing that, it will avoid the whole idea of the Fox-only Final Destination bullshit because it just won't need to happen. You know what I mean? So I think that just by making everybody good, that's just kind of the ultimate like solution to it. Yoshi, as I expected, of course, I figured he was going to be coming back in there. I like his new animations and things. He looks pretty neat. And just all of everybody coming back. I think that they're interesting. I think they're all going to be. It's going to be fun to just basically figure out like, okay, who is going to be my new main? Who is going to be the funnest to play for me, etc. That does legit excite me to think about from just the technical aspect and not even necessarily what characters are going to be coming back and etc. Like even Lucario also. I take back what I said about the bit with Mewtwo. First of all, it made much more sense that Lucario would actually be in there instead of Mewtwo for one thing, because I haven't played X and Y, but I'm aware that you're given a Lucario in Pokemon X and Y, like to test out the Mega Evolution thing. So that makes sense, and I'd say, oh, okay, cool. So, and plus the Aura thing that they have now, beefed up a little bit more compared to the previous game. I think that makes him a little bit more of a unique character. So that's going to be cool. I think that'll be neat to play as him. I'm sad that we'll probably have no Mewtwo. I'm assuming we won't have any Mewtwo, but it'll be cool to have Lucario in there because he's neat. And also going back to the multiple character models thing, makes sense for Charizard to just be by himself. I will miss the Pokemon trainer because he was a really neat idea, but I think that just having Charizard by himself makes more sense than that. So that's fine with me. And Greninja, unusual choice, but I'm totally okay with it. I, again, haven't played X and Y. I don't have much attachment to those characters, but Greninja looks pretty cool. I'm totally okay with having a Strider equivalent for Smash Brothers, because that's pretty badass. So yeah, I'm totally on board with it. Other stuff about the new fighters. Rosalina looks really cool. I love that Little Mac basically controls the way that he would in the game that he comes from. I think that's brilliant. With the way that all of his moves are. The Wii Fit Trainer's got some cool attacks as well. Mega Man looks amazing. I'm super excited to play as him. The Animal Crossing villagers got some neat stuff. They had a lot of cute little references and things. Man, Nintendo just loves making reference to Balloon Fight of all things. They are just absolutely like fixated on that game. It's funny to me for some reason. Mega Man's moves are all super cool. I love like how much of a tribute they are to like all the old stuff. Even the other like Elecman as an assist trophy and the Yellow Devil and the Dr. Wily Castle with the Mega Man 2 music. It's like just all those things seem like such like pure fan service. And the Final Smash with all the Mega Mans and everything, of course, that's amazing. It's a really cool little tribute. I like that a lot. So Mega Man's awesome, of course. You knew that. All right, so now I will get to my predictions about the other characters that we're going to get. All right, so looking at the Smash Brothers Brawl character list and kind of determining some of those things. So I think that we will get Wario back. Wario and Meta Knight and Mr. Game & Watch were still, like I mentioned before, they're on that, that thing? The whiteboard drawing that they had a while ago. Zero Suit Samus was on that too, I believe, so that makes sense for her to be back in there. They've got the Ashley Assist Trophy, so I think that Wario would make sense to be still in there. Ice Climbers, I think, are going to be out. Rob are going to be out. I think they've got enough sort of tributes to the old stuff that they wouldn't need to be in there. Meta Knight, I think, will be back, like because of the whiteboard drawing. Captain Falcon, because Samurai Goro is in there, and I think that Captain Falcon, because so many people, I think I said this in the last video, but so many people know of Captain Falcon and Ness as well because of Smash Brothers, that it would just make sense for them to be in there. Pokemon characters. I think at the very least we might get Jigglypuff back just because he was one of the original 12 from the 64 game. So it makes sense to have him in there. And of the people that don't like Jigglypuff very much, I mean, just again, look at how like cool they've made everybody and how much like more functional everyone is. So I think they could do some interesting things with Jigglypuff, with the fairy type and everything. They could make some adjustments that would make Jigglypuff more playable. And I know people who kick ass with Jigglypuff, so whatever. We'll see how that goes. And Ness will be back. Still holding on to some hope for Chrom. I think that would be cool. And also because they've now officially revealed the alternate costumes with the male Wii Fit trainer and the wireframe version of Little Mac. I'm still kind of hoping that we might get a Lucina alternate skin for Marth. That would be really neat. If we don't get Chrom, which would be unfortunate because I want, like I said, I want Matt Mercer to be in the game. I'm hoping that maybe we'll at least get a Lucina one, a Lucina alternate costume for Marth or something that could be neat. Fingers crossed. Snake. I don't. There's been that thing about. I think it was Ruben Langdon was talking about. Oh, I did write-in for Smash Brothers, and I don't know. I'm still not entirely sure about if that's going to be a thing because of what Kojima said about it. It could be that maybe it was all just a cover-up. Because a lot of things have changed, even like this whole bit about Sakurai saying, like, oh, there's not going to be as many characters as Brawl. But we're already at, 31 now, and Brawl had 35. There's no way there's only going to be 4 characters left. They're going to have more. But last thing kind of affecting that as well is I'm curious about which characters might be coming back or which ones would be unnecessary because of something that they finally teased a little bit in this video about the custom move sets. Now, the custom move sets might possibly make certain characters that are, were previously clones or, close enough move sets to what they were previously, with like Fox and Falco and Wolf, Ganondorf and Captain Falcon, etc. It might make some of those characters not necessary because, for instance, if you could give Fox a customizable moveset, you could say, like, okay, do you want Fox's normal blaster that is quick and doesn't make the opponents flinch? Do you want Falco's that's a little faster and does make them flinch, a little more powerful? Do you want Wolf's that also, counts as a melee attack if you hit somebody with it? Or do you want Fox's normal barrier, like the reflector attack, or do you want the Falco one where he kicks it? Feasibly, some of those things could just be made into customizable attacks for just Fox and not made into separately playable characters like Falco and Wolf. So what it would depend on is the evidence that we have is that Toon Link is a separate character and Luigi's a separate character. Luigi's not quite as much of a clone compared to the other ones, but the fact that a lot of his moves are pretty close to Mario's, I would still, consider him in part of what this happens with. Same thing with Lucas as well. Same thing with Lucas. Like, do you want PK Freeze or PK Flash or whatever? A lot of those things you could just customize. So the biggest thing that would make me wonder about which of those characters are going to come back is if their stats and kind of individual unique abilities are gonna make them different enough. Because like with Toon Link's movesets are pretty similar to Link, and they all have relatively similar properties. The biggest difference is the fact that he's floatier, he's lighter, Link is more heavy, hits a little bit harder. Luigi and Mario stats are different, their moves are different enough. But it's like, would you be able to differentiate that enough between Fox, Falco, and Wolf, or Lucas and Ness, or whatever, you know what I mean? I think the one that has the biggest amount of chance to come back of those would be Ganondorf, because he's the slowest and heaviest character as opposed to Captain Falcon, who's the fastest. And I feel like they could differentiate like their moves enough to where they could do that. Maybe they'll even give Ganondorf some moves with his sword. Who knows? That is very possible. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing kind of where that goes. Also, Smash Run. I forgot to mention that, but Smash Run looks awesome. I'm really excited about that. Trial Run was a lot of fun, or the city trial that is in Kirby. So I'd love to see how a Smash Brothers equivalent to that. That could be super cool. And I think that's about it. So I'm still holding out for Pac-Man and a couple of the other characters I left in my last video, but otherwise those are pretty much my thoughts at the moment. We'll find out the answers to these questions and more pretty soon. I feel like these months are going to fly by real quick, and I'm sure they'll still be updating us with more stuff about the game as time goes on. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, leave your thoughts. Who do you want to see in the game? What are you most excited about? Who do you want to play as? Who are you excited about maybe maining, or what levels are interesting to you? What assist trophies? What other characters do you think might still be showing up? Leave your comments below, and if you got ideas for future Kirblog topics, feel free to leave a comment about that or message me on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook. And in the meantime, go on over and check out the newest episode of Tome, episode 6, part 1. I implore you, again, if you guys maybe are just finding this and you haven't seen Tome before, go check that out, because episode 6 is something I'm very, very, very proud of. If you like Little Karibo, he's very prominently featured in that as the character Nyluk, and it's a cute little story. Go check it out. Hope you enjoy it. And that's going to do it for me, so I will see you all next week, and look forward to all the usual stuff like normal. And have a good day, guys. See you later.